Hey there kids, this is Math Recovery, and right above this video you will see a black button for the worksheet that I'm doing right now. I'm going to do the first 3 problems of the worksheet, and you can do 3 or 4 problems each night, and when you know how to do it, come see me, and I'll give you a lemon drop if you can test out, okay? Now in this section, on this worksheet, we're looking at making equivalent fractions, okay? We've talked about that a fraction can be named in an endless number of other names, but there's only one smallest fraction or simplest fraction. Now in today's worksheet, there's several different ways you can do this. The first one shows us 2/8 equals something over 32. Now you might remember in class I told you you can multiply the numerator by anything, and as long as you multiply the denominator by the same thing, you're going to have something called equivalent fractions. They're the same thing, right? Well, we can do the opposite. We can look at this right here and we can try to figure it out like a detective. 8 times what equals 32? 8 times something equals 32. Do you know what it is? Right. It's a 4, right? 8 times 4 equals 32. Well, if you did that for the denominator, then you can do that for the numerator also. If you used a 4 downstairs, use a 4 upstairs. 8 times 4 is 32. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay? Now, so right now we have 2 equivalent fractions. They're the exact same thing. This one has 8 pieces to it, and this one has 32 pieces, right? Only 2 of those 8 pieces are here, and only 8 of those 32 pieces are here, but they're the same amount. Now we can always check to see if we have equivalent fractions by doing something called cross multiplying. 8 times 8 equals 64. And if we cross multiply this way, 32 times 2, that equals 64. And if these two numbers are the same right here, we know we have equivalent fractions. They're the exact same thing. Okay? I'll show you one more way of doing it because when I was in school, I liked to do this better. I had a teacher that showed me this. He said, you can multiply these two together and then divide by this one. So these two right here, you multiply them together and then you divide by the one that's left over right there. Okay, you divide. You multiply the diagonal ones and you divide by this one, and then you're going to be left with this. So let's try that. 2 times 32 is 64. Divided by the one that's left over right here, divided by 8. And that leaves you with 8, right? Because 64 divided by 8 equals 8. So you could do it this way. Multiply diagonally and divide by the one that's left over here, the adjacent one, and that will give you the missing one. Or you can do it the way that I showed you before. Okay, you guys are smart kids. You can do this. Do 2 or 3 problems each night and practice. Practice makes perfect. When you're ready to test out, let me know, and I will give you a lemon drop if you can do it, okay? Talk to you later, kid.